Hey,
What's up, folks?
it's Danny Boy. That's Bill. How's it going?
Doing well, buddy. How you doing?
Bored. I'm bored, man. Um, we were so excited because we had a lot of stuff going on. We had the NCAAs, we had baseball, um, and of course, the last of basketball, the last of hockey to start the season. In Washington, we had the great chase with Alex Ovechkin and everything. So it was not boring until this week.
Yeah,
And
because Monday we had we were getting excited. We had OV breaking Gretzky's record. If
Mhm.
you want to go back and listen to Monday's show, go do that. We also had the NCAA tournament
Yeah.
wrapping up with the finals with Florida beating Houston. And we'll talk about that in a second. And but this week things just really died.
Yeah. Now this weekend is the Masters. I think already started.
Yeah, they started yesterday.
So obviously we'll 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 give you the final updates Monday when that wraps up and stuff. But yeah, it's not our week in terms of sports. I mean, nothing crazy's happening. Oh, wait a second. I stand corrected. The Denver Nuggets fired their head coach
Isn't
and
that
GM.
insane?
Like, what are, I mean, and look, the Nuggets have been terrible. They've been 12 and 13 since the All-Star break. You know, a lot of bad losses in that stretch. Obviously, the one I could name is that horrible blowout they had against Portland. Portland absolutely beat them up. Now, giving them a little bit of a pass. I'm talking about the players. They did not have their big time players play in that game, but still, it was still a bad loss. Portland's not that good of a team. You with a B team you should be able to kick their ass. But they didn't do that. So my sense is that with Denver, even though I don't like the move, I think it was the wrong move. Look, you have your strong players out there, you know, Jokic and everybody. Like, let them figure it out in the playoffs and stuff. And then if you have a bad playoff series, then you can fire your coach, but not before the playoffs. Like that's not a good time to be, you know, evaluating the coaching and of course the front office because the GM was fired too. So it's not a good time when you're right in the cusp of playoffs. Like, the time should be after the playoffs. But in any case, Michael Malone is out as Denver head coach. He'd been there for 10 years, done a tremendous job, won an NBA championship in 2023. Um, but it's shocking because the playoffs are about to start, and I mean, let's see. Hopefully, the interim coach can get the job done. But that's such a killer for the locker room, Bill. It is such a killer.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So why do they do this?
Look, I guess the real toll was the four consecutive losses they had. Um, they had just lost a game, I think the night prior or whatever. So they were on a four-game losing streak. So I think the front office just felt that, or not the front office, the owner, Kroenke. I think he felt that the message was no longer landing anymore. I'm trying to figure out the words I'm trying to say because it really doesn't really make any sense here. Um, I guess the message wasn't landing with the players anymore, and they needed to change. But my question is, why make the change now when you can make the change after the season? Unless they knew that they weren't going to bring him back and decide, well, let's just rip the band-aid and let's just go at it, knowing, hey, next season we're going to get a new head coach. But to me, I feel like the better way to deal with it was after the playoffs. You don't want to mess with. Look, I know the West is tough, and the Denver Nuggets are probably not going to win the NBA title, but it still isn't the time to fire your coach. That's just me. Not when you're about to make the playoffs, not when your season's about to wrap. It just doesn't make any sense. There are 79 games in.
Oh, I absolutely agree. Like, why are you gonna do this now when
Yeah.
you have not too long left? Am I right, Reg?
Yeah. Well, the season's over. It ends like next week.
Like,
Yeah.
this makes no sense. I would say just ride it out to next week when the season's over and just put a
Well, I don't know. Maybe you give them a series, one playoff series. Just an idea. I don't
I
know.
don't know what these people were thinking.
It's dumb. It's stupid, and I feel like look, it's a bad season that I think you can afford a bad season from a coach. Look, the Nuggets haven't been great this year, but they're 48 and 32. In a very tough Western Conference. You know, everyone that's in the playoffs in the Western Conference has at least 39 as the 38 wins. That's pretty good for the NBA. You know,
No, that's pretty good.
the Eastern Conference, these teams stink.
Yeah, so I don't know what they were thinking. We have like a week
And
left.
they're a 4 seed. Look, they're not better than Oklahoma City. They're not better than Houston. I just don't understand in a tough conference. Obviously, you don't have the best players on the team. You have some of the better players for sure. I don't know. I just think it was a little premature. Um, if you wanted to wait till after you get eliminated from the playoffs, if in fact that's what happens, then that's one thing. But not before the playoffs. That really messes with the team chemistry. It really does.
Yeah, so sheer just stupidity in Denver, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Just sheer stupidity.
Um, let's see. Maybe Josh Kroenke has something up his sleeve that we don't know of, right?
Does he?
Well, maybe he'll take any lessons from his dad.
And what was that lesson from his dad, Reggie?
I have no clue.
I'm sure it was something very insightful. All right.
All
All
right.
right. So
Gotcha.
yeah, so head coach of Dem Nuggets head coach Michael Malone out, and so is Calvin Booth of the GM
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, but Booth, who had been there for at least like 3, 4 years, right? Something like that. Maybe 5 years.
Yeah, less than
Um,
2 years after they won the NBA title. So
yeah, that's rough.
after 2 years, Done, Gone, Donzo.
Mhm.
All right, so we now move on really quick to NCAA championship game that happened Monday. Dude, that was a nail biter.
You just say NCAA.
Ding.
Sorry, my ears are like, wait, what? That's kind of weird. Kind of weird way to say it. Um,
Oh, you all get the picture.
I'm busting your chops. Um, yeah, the Florida versus Houston. I'm sorry about Houston, Bill.
Well, it's a good news, bad news situation. The
Oh,
bad news is Houston lost. You know what the good news is?
what?
I still won $50
Okay. So,
because because the other person who still remained had Houston too. So we went to a tiebreaker, which was percentage. And since I had a higher percentage in the bracket, I won $50.
okay, there you go.
Dude, it's $50 more than I had.
Hey, better than me. I want $50.
Yeah, who doesn't like $50? Who doesn't like money?
Yeah.
So, win or lose, I got $50 in my pocket.
Okay.
Okay, so that's good. But anyway, dude, that game was a freaking nail biter.
Yeah, I mean, I know Houston, they were up like 12 or something.
Yes.
Midway through the game, and of course Florida made a comeback and ended up winning. And yeah, it was a nail biter. I only watched maybe part of the second half because I was bowling. So I'm focused on bowling when I'm, when I'm bowling and stuff. Very competitive stuff. But yeah, no, I took glances at it. I thought for sure Houston would run away with it. They were
I
playing
thought so
very
too.
well. They were knocking down shots. They were playing well defensively. Florida had no answer. And then the second half, it just a
Just flip of the switch. And Florida
crazy.
just, I'm like, is this the same team I've been watching this whole game?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Florida just woke up.
Yeah, they woke up. They kept knocking down their shots. Houston went a little cold. Now, Houston stayed with it. They still played when they had to make plays. Houston still made plays, but then ultimately, Florida, to their credit, they, were able to get the better looks. And yeah, man, it was a pretty good. It was a back and forth match. Pretty much the second half on, it was pretty much back and forth. They kept trading buckets at the end, and yeah, I feel bad for the Houston players on the last possession because um, there's a couple of them that had a great look at the 3-pointer. And I know the one kid, again, I'm not good with college names, but like that one kid at the end that, threw up a shot, but he couldn't touch the ball. So it was a turnover, and that ended the game. So um, yeah, that was a bummer. That was a bad last possession. Um, but great game nonetheless, and Florida wins another title. Um, First time in a long time for Florida.
Yes, since 2007.
Yeah, so good for them. And they're national champions and they get all the bragging rights. It was as much as we would love to have seen Cinderella stories, and it's always those feel good ones.
But
It
can
was
you really
actually
say this was a Cinderella story year, though, Reg? Because all four number ones were in the final four.
Bill, that's my point. It was actually really nice to also know that the top teams in the tournament actually did their thing and made it to the final. You know, it would have been nice to have the Cinderella story, but it was actually good for a change to see the top teams in the final. That was the point that I was trying to make.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. But now I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
But hey, what a what a tournament. What a game.
yeah. It was a good tournament. It was a good tournament, back and forth. Um, very competitive, I will say. Um, and ultimately, look, the women have done a better job. By the way, congrats to. Oh, I think we said it on Monday. Congrats
UConn.
to Gino, and UConn Huskies. But the men was competitive this year. I don't know if it did the ratings well, better than women, but you know, it still did a great job. Better men's tournament than the past few years. I'll say that much.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, the NCAA March Madness tournament is over.
Hmm.
And yeah, like we said, good tournament this year for the both men and the women.
Yeah.
So good job to them. Now now we got some NFL news. The Browns signed Joe Flacco
They did
for a
sign.
1 year deal.
Yeah, Flacco returns to Cleveland. He spent a year over in Indianapolis, and then now returns to Cleveland. Um, the Cleveland needs a quarterback. I mean, look, they really messed up on the Deshaun stuff, and now they lost Jameis, so they got to find someone. Uh,
He's
while Deshaun Watson recovers um, from his injury. So yeah, it's a tough time to be in Cleveland. But Joe Flacco, look, he's a great veteran. He's a awesome guy, awesome team guy, and he'll give you. Look, he's not going to give you the greatest play at this stage in his career, but he'll give you competent quarterback play for
Yeah,
sure.
well, this makes you think for the draft though, with Cleveland though, Reg. Cleveland's number two. So if they wanna if
Yeah.
Tennessee drafts Cam Ward, which I'm about 99.9% sure they will,
Yes.
are they going to draft? Can they draft Shador? Are they going to draft Shador?
The question is, does Shador want to go there? Because he has more power than you think.
I mean, he's been falling in the draft ranking, so too.
I don't think they will draft him.
I actually see a draft, a mock draft that say he won't get drafted to the ninth pick,
Wild stuff.
and saying that New Orleans will take him at number nine.
Yeah, that's wild stuff. I don't know what the Browns do. I don't know.
Or does anyone care what the Browns do? Is the bigger question.
That's a good question. Do people actually care?
Unless you live in the great city of Cleveland. When it comes to football, Reg, they wish they were Detroit.
Oh my.
Yeah. See how fucking old we are, bro?
Yep.
There was that video go, come on down to Cleveland. You might even meet this guy. He's got about a dozen DUIs. And he goes, Cleveland, we swear not Detroit. We're not Detroit. But anyway, yeah, Cleveland wishes they were Detroit on this one.
Yep.
But anyway, we got okay, so I don't know what Cleveland's gonna do. I don't know if they're gonna get Shador or they're gonna who knows? God only knows.
But for now,
And,
Joe Flacco.
and they got Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
So now some baseball news.
Yeah. Nothing big on the baseball front. Um, I know that Ronald Acuna, he tore his ACL last season. He's still not slated to be back anytime soon, but his knee will be reevaluated. That the left knee, to be exact, will be reevaluated. He had been doing live batting practice. But he can't run, so obviously the recovery time is taking a lot slower um than it should be. It's been and the Braves have struggled. It's been rough. It's been very rough. They're not scoring a lot of runs. They're not getting a lot of hits, which is pretty shocking because the Braves, despite losing Acuna, still looked fairly good last year. And but the injuries all across the board have killed them, absolutely killed them. So if they can get Acuna back as soon as possible, that'd be great. But he looks like he's getting his knee reevaluated, which means something. There's a hiccup. There's probably a hiccup in his rehab. So that's rough to see for sure. Um, Bill, what were your thoughts on that?
Um, hopefully when they reevaluate, hopefully he will be good to go because
Yeah,
I feel so bad for Acuna. He keeps getting hurt.
yeah, he keeps getting hurt. And he's a dynamic player too. So you know it's been rough not seeing him on the baseball field. I'll tell you that much.
It has been rough not seeing him on the baseball field.
Yeah,
But hey, hopefully he'll be back soon.
yeah. Hopefully soon. Uh,
I feel like he keeps getting hurt, the poor guy.
yeah. No matter what, he's probably going to be injury prone the rest of his career. That 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 sucks. Um, Other baseball news, World Baseball Classic, Mark DeRosa, who did a great job the last time, um, is back as the USA manager. So obviously DeRosa, we see him on MLB Network and stuff. He does a great job with the analysis. So congrats to him. And we, of course, the World Baseball Classic could be in 2026. So
Next year, it's already coming.
so we're excited for that. And then of course, um, the A's are on track for a Las Vegas groundbreaking in June. How about this? We're finally getting answers on when the stadium's actually going to be built. And of course, the plan has always been for like 2028, 2029, Bill, but Las Vegas groundbreaking in June for the A's. So uh, finally getting some movement on that stadium. Um, it's great.
Yeah, it's going to be groundbreaking in June, and I'm sure the city of Oakland is very depressed right now.
Yeah, but you know what? Oakland was part of the problem. They I know. Look, as a progressive myself, I don't want my taxpayer dollars going towards $1 billion for a baseball stadium
And
that
I
barely
agree with that statement. I'm
shoot.
like, and I said this last year when I did a batter up with old ops guy. Let Fisher and his billionaire buddies take care of it.
Yeah. Now, and look, I'm going to surprise you here. While, yeah, I think billionaires should front the stadium. I also don't think the best way to go about it is to not have public investment into the stadium too. You know, like I feel like if the city invests in it, I'm not saying like to invest like a whole like the whole project like New York is doing for the Buffalo Bills, but invest some portion of the city's funding to the stadium, you know. So that's my only counter. But of course, Oakland didn't want to do that. And look, it's their fault. Look, they didn't negotiate and entice the A's. So the A's went
Oakland is just a sad city right
yeah.
now.
Now, of course, the A's they're the real problem. The A's are the real problem. Let's call it what it is.
Fisher is an asshole.
They're the real problem. But Oakland didn't help themselves.
They shot
So
themselves in the foot.
you can't just be like, oh, Oakland, they're exonerated. They're not at fault. But yes, they are at fault.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But we're in any case Vegas. But look, baseball's coming to Vegas. I mean, I'm sorry, like that even even I can get pretty excited about it. So,
Hey, you got football, you got hockey, now you got baseball.
exactly. Oh man, Vegas instantly becoming a big time sports
Yeah, well, maybe because it helps with the gambling and stuff.
town.
I told you, when I went to Vegas a couple of years ago,
Yeah,
my hotel was right because I went for the Notre Dame BYU game,
right.
and the stadium was right across from my hotel.
Mhm.
And there is like a bridge you could just walk across there. It's crazy. I remember the bartender at the hotel was saying when it's Raiders game day here, like people are here in the bar pre-gaming and then they walk right over to the stadium. It's crazy.
Insane. That strip is gonna be wild with all those three sports teams there. Wild shit.
Wild.
Okay, cool.
So we got so yeah, let's yeah, Vegas is now a sports town.
Yeah, for sure. Um, we talked about Vladimir Guerrero's contract extension on Monday.
Yes, we did.
He's relieved at that, as he should be.
Yes.
Um, and like I said, he wanted to stay there. So they're look, of course, of course you want to test out free agency, but if you like somewhere, you like somewhere. So, it is what it is. And then of course, Yankees had a rough week in Detroit. The cold weather didn't help, but they lost 2 out of 3.
Nah, didn't help.
I always hate those Detroit road trips. They trip me up every time. Like you can never tell how the Yankees are gonna do. So um but on the bright side, Max Fried had a good solid day on Wednesday. 7 innings, 11 strikeouts, no runs. Like he was pretty dope. Now, of course, get Devin Williams giving me a heart attack in the ninth inning. Yankees can't hold on to a lead, but Yankees ended up winning that game. So, on to the weekend.
Yeah, let's do it. On to yeah, we got a three game against San Francisco this weekend, which I think tonight's game might get rained out.
I mean, the weather's pretty bad here too. I mean, yeah, up and down the East Coast, really.
Because I had friends who asked me if I wanted to go tonight, and I'm like, yeah, no, because it's gonna be rain, cold.
Yeah.
God, am I becoming an old man here, Reg? Or I
That's,
just don't want to sit and freeze my ass off.
I mean, it could be a bit of both. I mean, look, at least you get to sit on the couch and snore while it's pouring. So it's like,
Yeah, but nah, it's a but nah, like yeah, so hopefully they get the series in this week.
yeah. Uh, Giants having a good start to the season. They're second in the NL West, behind the San Diego Padres. They're 9-3. How about the Dodgers taking a bit of a nosedive against the Nationals of all people? Hello, Patch. Two
Hey,
out of three.
Patch.
2 out of 3 over the Dodgers. What? What?
Say what? Did I do that right? Say what?
Um, Dodgers salvaged their series though. They won the third game. But no, because of that, the Giants have taken over as the second team in the NL West. And of course the Padres are just absolute beasts. They're
No,
tremendous.
Padres, look out for them.
That's a tough division. That is a very, very tough division, the NL West. So, National League, watch out. Like that's got some really strong teams. I'm telling you, they're like they're a team with superpowers. Like they're like the Justice League or the Avengers, you know? They have all the powers.
Yes, they do. So we will see what happens this week.
Yeah,
Giants are doing well in the NL West. We'll see what happens.
yeah,
Hey, Reg, I just found something on Facebook. Maybe we can have a little fun here.
sure,
Okay, the Masters are this weekend,
right.
and I present to you the Masters menu.
Mm,
Build your meal at the Masters. You have $10. Here are your $10 order at the Masters. You got for
love it.
$3 for those who are listening audio. $3, you got a pork barbecue sandwich and the chicken salad sandwich. You got $1.50 for pimento cheese and $1.50 for egg salad. For breakfast, you got $3 breakfast sandwich, $3 chicken biscuit, $2.50 fresh mixed fruit, $2.50 blueberry muffin. For snacks, you got $2 Georgia pecan caramel popcorn, $1.75 cookies, $1.50 chips, and $3 Georgia peach ice cream sandwich. And for drinks, for $6, you got Rose Nest beer, $6 white wine, $2 iced tea, or $2 soda or water.
Mm.
All right, Reg, you got $10. What are you having?
On a non-Lenten Friday.
Yeah, let's pretend it's not Lent.
um, I'm either having breakfast, either the breakfast sandwich or the chicken biscuit. I'll take the breakfast sandwich
Okay.
with a blueberry muffin,
Okay, it's $5.
$1.50 chips, and give me water.
Okay, so
I'm being weird, but that's
6.50, 7.50. Okay, you got 50 cents to spare.
and that's all I got.
Okay, I think
I'll pay with my credit card. I'll go into debt.
okay, for me I think I might go with a pork barbecue.
Okay.
I do like pulled pork, so I'm gonna go with that's $3. Fresh mixed fruit for 2.50, so that's 5.50.
Okay.
I'm in the mood for something sweet, so I'm gonna get a nice chocolate chip cookie,
Hmm.
and that's 7.25. And I think I'm gonna get a soda or water. I think
Yeah.
I'll get a soda. So that is $9.75.
By the way, I think water should be free,
It should be.
but of course they want to make money off of water. I think it's dumb. Um,
You damn leftist.
they call us crazy. They want to send they whatever. I don't know. In case. That's expensive for the Masters. $3 for a breakfast sandwich?
$3 for pulled pork. That's not bad.
Now for pulled pork, that's one thing, but I don't know, breakfast sandwiches. Breakfast sandwiches used to be very cheap back in the day. When I was a kid, it was like what, $1?
Well, welcome to
Maybe
everything has
$2.
gone up.
Oh, horrible.
Nah, but
Horrible.
but no, but for $10 you can get a full meal at the Masters. I'm not complaining.
I mean, that is true. Not only do I get a full meal, I get two snacks. I get the muffin and I get the chips. So I guess it's not terrible. You have $10, but yeah. Back in the day, you can probably get like all of those items for like 12. So it's like, just throwing that out there. Like you can probably add the mixed fruit um to your $10 budget without going over budget.
And that's why I got the mixed fruit. So yeah, Masters, $10 and get you a full meal.
And you get to watch the golfers play out. Um, yeah, a whole weekend of Master festivities.
Yeah, and we'll give you the final update on Monday.
Yep. Um, Justin Rose is at the top of the leaderboard right now. Um, Bryson DeChambeau is second. And they're pretty much neck and neck, so it's fairly close. Um, Insane stuff. Can I show you something real quick, Bill, before we
Go
go?
right ahead. Go right
Listen,
ahead.
for those of you that watch basketball, John Morant's been in the news lately because of, he's got a lot of things in mind when it comes to celebrations. Obviously, the gun pointing, which of course is a violation in any sport, especially football, basketball. You do the gun pointing celebrations, you're subject to penalties and fines and all that stuff. So, and of course, John Morant's past as a you know doing various criminal like activities is very unappealing. However, um, since he was fined for doing the gun pointing stuff, he has found a brand new celebration, Bill.
The grenade.
The grenade. Look at this shit.
Not much better, but
It's not much better, but
we'll take it.
I mean, we have no choice but to take it. Look at this beautiful, beautiful grenade celebration.
Ugh.
By the way, I'm being sarcastic. Um, oh, what should the NBA do about this? Like, that is wild.
He can't get his celebrations right, can he?
I don't think he gives a shit anymore.
I think at this point, the NBA is just. I actually don't think the NBA is going to do anything
Yeah.
because I think at this point, they're just tired of him, you know?
Well, they haven't said anything yet.
They're tired of what that thing he did, what was it, 2 years ago with the gun in the nightclub?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're tired of when he was doing the finger gun thing. I think at this point, they're just done with him.
Yeah. It's a shame because he's a great player, and I don't want him to be targeted. That's another thing with this. Like, I don't want him to be constantly targeted.
Oh,
For
I
his
understand.
says, like, John Morant's a great player. You know, he's a top player in this league. You know, let him play the game. But at the same time, like, can you not do something so silly? Oh.
That's crazy. That's
That's a
just
wild celebration. Like, I mean, I didn't think he had it up his sleeve.
listen, it's not the worst,
I guess so. It's not.
but yeah,
But
like I think the NBA is just done with
where
him.
grenade is still wild though. Like you can't just be like, oh, grenade, it don't matter. No, it was wild. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, would you catch a grenade for him?
no, not a live one.
Oh, you didn't get the reference?
No, I don't get the reference.
And I would catch a grenade for you.
Oh, the Bruno Mars. No, still no. I love the song
Bruno Mars
though.
to me is one of those artists I actually like his later stuff better than I like his earlier stuff.
I disagree. I like his early stuff.
I like Treasure.
No, I like his like early stuff. Like Grenade's a great song.
I like Locked Out of Heaven.
Let that happen. Um, just the way
Just
you are.
just the way you are, I like.
You like it? That's
I
it?
I like the song,
That's
yes.
that is a great song. Come on now. Um, the song did with B.O.B. Nothing on You. Um, Billionaire with Charlie McCoy. Um, that's some of his early stuff. I get what you're saying. His later stuff are better. I will give you that. His later stuff are better. But
Hey, to each their own.
but no, like his early stuff is great, Bruno Mars.
Agreed. Okay, well, that is our show for today.
Yeah, if you like what you see, um, we're on the YouTube channel Monday and Friday. Um, you can subscribe and hit that notification button. You'll know when we're live if
Yes, you will.
you hit that notification button. And then I promise you, it's been a rough week. I promise you, we will get you the podcast
In
audio
audio form.
up. I've been terrible at it. I'm so sorry.
Hey, at least he admits it.
Every time too, every Friday, I admit it. Um,
Get to work here, Reg.
I know. Um, but audio form will be available as well. Check out all of our podcasts wherever you get your podcasts. Some of the podcasts are live on this very YouTube channel as well, not just us, but there are some other podcasts that are live too. So please follow that. NFL draft is coming, Bill.
Yes, we are. It is.
I don't want the Jets to draft a quarterback because I feel like we have enough quarterbacks. But you know,
And who knows what Joe Shane and the Giants are going to do? Who frickin' knows?
I
We
think
are
it's
planning on doing our mock draft the 21st, which is the Monday before the draft. So we are planning on doing that then.
yeah. I got some surprises for you for my mock draft.
Am I going to like it or am I going to want to punch you through the screen?
I think the latter. But
I'm
I'm not trying to piss you off though. I just have some thoughts.
all right. And
Or
I'm
maybe I'm just overthinking. Maybe
we'll see
you
what
do like it,
happens.
you
We'll see
know?
what happens. We will see what happens, folks. So yeah, keep an eye on that for us. Keep an eye on that. We'll have the mock draft on April 21st, and then we will be having our live draft coverage. All
Um,
right. So for all of us here, www.sportsinsanitynetwork.com. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. I'm Bill Corpus, Crispy Murphy.
peace and love, Danny
Stay
Butler.
safe.